After years of waiting, Avatar: Aang The Last Airbender finally brings one of animation's most beloved groups of heroes back together. Rather than telling another story about children discovering who they are, the film explores what happens after the adventure ends. The characters have grown older, the world has changed, and each member of the gang now carries new responsibilities alongside the emotional weight of everything they experienced during the 100-Year War. The result is a film that feels less like a complete reinvention and more like a heartfelt reunion. For longtime fans, simply seeing Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko sharing the screen again is enough to create an immediate sense of excitement. At the same time, the movie carefully avoids disrupting the continuity established throughout the wider Avatar franchise, choosing instead to fill in an important chapter between the original series and the stories that follow later. The story takes place more than a decade after the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Aang is no longer the carefree 12-year-old audiences first met. He is now a young adult carrying responsibilities that few people could ever understand. As the founder of Republic City and the Avatar responsible for maintaining peace, he spends much of his life traveling across the world. However, beneath those responsibilities lies a much more personal mission. Aang continues searching the abandoned air nomad temples, gathering relics from a civilization that was almost completely wiped out. Even after so many years, the loss of his people continues to shape every part of his life. That emotional foundation becomes the heart of the entire movie. Rather than focusing only on saving the world once again, the film explores Aang's loneliness and his desire to reconnect with the culture he lost as a child. His latest journey introduces an intriguing possibility. A legendary artifact created by a previous air nomad avatar named Sonam may possess the power to restore the airbender population. Naturally, such an artifact could reshape the future of the world. It also attracts dangerous enemies. A violent non-bender faction known as the Denied believes the relic could instead become a weapon capable of changing the balance of power forever. That immediately transforms the search into a race against time. The movie also introduces a brand new character named Taga. Without revealing every detail surrounding his origins, Taga is another airbender whose unusual circumstances mirror Aang's own history in surprising ways. His arrival gives Aang something he has longed for ever since waking up after the 100-Year War. Someone who truly understands air nomad traditions from personal experience. Taga quickly becomes one of the film's central figures. He receives significant screen time and plays an important role throughout the story. Whether audiences embrace him will likely depend on what they wanted from this movie. As a new addition to the franchise, Taga works well. He expands the mythology surrounding the air nomads and creates opportunities to explore aspects of their culture that the original series could only briefly touch upon. However, his importance also comes with a trade-off. Because the film spends so much time developing Taga, there are fewer opportunities for extended interactions between the original members of the gang. Fortunately, every returning character still receives memorable moments. Katara remains one of the emotional anchors of the story. For the first time, viewers are able to spend meaningful time with Aang and Katara as an established couple rather than watching their relationship slowly develop. Their bond feels mature, supportive, and believable. The romance never overwhelms the story, but it quietly reminds audiences how much both characters have grown since the end of the original series. Zuko has also evolved considerably. Now fully comfortable in his role as Fire Lord, he carries himself with calm confidence. Yet despite his royal responsibilities, his friendship with Aang remains wonderfully natural. Their conversations immediately recapture the trust they built together years earlier. Toph continues to steal nearly every scene she appears in. Her personality remains wonderfully blunt, fearless, and endlessly entertaining. Even as an adult, She refuses to soften her attitude, and her earth-bending sequences once again prove why she remains one of the franchise's strongest fighters. Sokka still provides much of the humor. Although his jokes appear less frequently than in the original series, his creativity and ability to think differently continue, making him an invaluable member of the team. One of the film's biggest adjustments comes through its entirely new voice cast. Every major returning character has been recast. This change is immediately noticeable. For viewers who spent years with the original performances, hearing different voices can initially create a sense of distance. The opening scenes almost feel like meeting familiar friends after many years apart. Fortunately, the performances themselves are consistently strong. Eric Nam presents an older, calmer version of Aang that reflects his increased responsibilities. Jessica Madden gives Katara warmth and quiet confidence. Roman Zaragoza captures Sokka's energetic personality while allowing the character to sound more mature. Dion Kwan brings back Toph's dry humor with remarkable confidence. Steven Yeun delivers perhaps the most impressive transition, giving Zuko a composed authority that perfectly suits his position as Fire Lord. While longtime fans may need time to adjust, the new cast successfully establishes these characters as adults rather than simply older versions of their younger selves. Visually, the film is absolutely stunning. This is easily one of its greatest strengths. The character designs carefully preserve the familiar appearance of every member of the gang while adding subtle signs of maturity. Toph's updated armor is an excellent example. It reflects her growth without abandoning the design language audiences already recognize. The environments are equally impressive. Traditional hand-drawn character animation blends beautifully with detailed computer-generated backgrounds, creating expansive landscapes that feel both familiar and grander than anything seen in the television series. Several sequences stand out visually. The exploration of ancient air nomad history looks breathtaking. The spirit world appears more mysterious than ever, featuring memorable encounters with strange spiritual beings that reinforce just how unpredictable that realm can be. The action scenes are another highlight. Watching an adult Aang confidently command all four elements creates some spectacular moments. Airbender against airbender battles offer choreography rarely seen before within the franchise. Storm sequences demonstrate the impressive scale of the animation. Elemental combat feels faster, larger, and more cinematic than most of what the original series could achieve within television production limits. From a purely visual standpoint, the movie consistently impresses. The story itself is slightly more complicated. Rather than following the structure of a traditional feature film, it often feels like watching several connected episodes from a new television season. The pacing reflects that approach. Action scenes frequently give way to lengthy stretches of exposition before accelerating once again. The result is a narrative that sometimes struggles to build sustained momentum. None of these scenes are uninteresting. They simply make the overall experience feel more episodic than cinematic. Thematically, however, the film succeeds beautifully. Everything ultimately revolves around one central idea. Family is not defined solely by shared history or shared abilities. Throughout the movie, Aang desperately hopes reconnecting with another airbender will finally ease the loneliness he has carried since childhood. His search is completely understandable. After surviving the destruction of his people, wanting to rebuild that connection feels entirely natural. Yet the story gently challenges that belief. Being an airbender does not automatically create family. Instead, the movie reminds Aang that the people who have stood beside him all these years have already become exactly that. Katara, Sokka, Toph, Zuko. Together they represent the family he chose rather than the one he lost. It is a thoughtful message that fits naturally alongside the themes explored throughout the original series. Another strength is the film's respect for established continuity. Nothing here feels like an unnecessary attempt to rewrite familiar history. Instead, every major event carefully fits within the larger timeline leading towards future Avatar stories. Longtime fans will appreciate the attention paid to maintaining consistency without creating contradictions. The movie also deserves praise for resisting the temptation to chase shocking plot twists. Instead of radically redefining beloved characters, it allows them to continue growing naturally. Some viewers may wish the film took greater creative risks. Others will appreciate its commitment to preserving the spirit of the original series. One area where expectations should remain realistic is the humor. While there are plenty of amusing character moments, the comedy appears less frequently than in the original show. The focus remains firmly on adventure, emotional reflection, and world building. After the story concludes, there is no post-credits scene teasing another adventure. Instead, viewers who remain through the credits are rewarded with beautifully illustrated artwork featuring Aang, Katara, Zuko, and other familiar characters. These images serve as a gentle farewell rather than a sequel announcement. They also provide an opportunity to appreciate the artists whose work brought this long-awaited reunion to life. Ultimately, Aang The Last Airbender succeeds because it understands exactly what it wants to be. It is not attempting to replace the original series. It is not trying to reinvent the Avatar universe. Instead, it functions as a bridge between different eras of the franchise while giving fans something they have wanted for years: the chance to spend more time with the Gaang as young adults. Its breathtaking animation, spectacular action, thoughtful themes, and genuine affection for these characters make it an enjoyable continuation even when the pacing occasionally feels uneven. The emotional magic that made the original series unforgettable does not burn quite as brightly throughout every scene, but it shines often enough to remind viewers why these characters continue to hold such a special place in animation history. For longtime Avatar fans, the movie feels like returning home after a very long journey. It may not redefine the franchise, but it lovingly celebrates everything that made audiences fall in love with this world in the first place.